Hey, good evening and welcome to Wednesday Night Wellness Live. I'm Dr. Andrew Merrill here at Nightlight Chiropractic, and this is the video that I do each and every week to bring you the latest and greatest information in chiropractic medicine. And this week we got an interesting topic for you. I find this stuff interesting, and if I ever seem like I'm screaming at you or overly excited or talking really quickly, it's because I like this stuff. I'm excited. If you ever have questions for me about this stuff, please hit me up in the comments. I love to talk about this stuff. So tonight what we're talking about is sciatica, right? Pain that goes from your back down your leg. Maybe it goes to your knee. Maybe it goes all the way to your ankle. Maybe it goes all the way down to your toes. But all sciatica is not equal, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, every time somebody comes in and they're like, I've got sciatica. I diagnosed myself on the internet. I know exactly what it is. Let's get past that part. Well, wait a minute. There's 6 different kinds of sciatica, right? There's 6 different ways that you could get sciatica. Most of them involve the spinal column itself, right? If you have a disc herniation where the disc is squishing backwards towards a nerve, or if your spinal canal itself is starting to get squished, these are 2 causes of sciatica, and maybe you have one of those 2 causes. But there's a less common cause and a less talked about cause that just changed names on us. And I don't even know when it changed names, to be perfectly honest with you. Sometimes this stuff just happens and nobody even tells us. It's just like one day you see it and it's a new diagnosis code and that's what we're using. So tonight what we're talking about is deep gluteal syndrome, right? Deep gluteal syndrome. And up until 5 hours ago, I thought it was called piriformis syndrome, and that's how I've always been taught it. But I think it changed because there's a variety of tissues that can do what it does. Now, what does it do? What are we talking about here with deep gluteal syndrome? So your nerves all come together out of your spine, and they all come together to form your sciatic nerve. And your sciatic nerve runs right down the outside part of your sacrum here. But there's more tissue right here next to your sacrum, right? There's a lot more tissue, in fact. You have 3 or 4 different layers of musculature there, including your big gluteus muscles that kind of sit on the outside, your buttocks muscles. But then underneath that, you have all of these external hip rotator muscles, one of those being your piriformis muscle. But you also have obturator muscles and gemelli muscles, and there's a lot of them. And they really don't do a lot. I mean, I guess they create some motion for your foot, but they're not big drivers and they're not big power muscles like your glutes. Here's the problem. Your sciatic nerve has to dive down through all of these different structures. So when we hear the term deep gluteal syndrome, it could be any of those tissues that's compressing the sciatic nerve as it's coming right down through this area. And so we need to find a way to kind of treat all those different areas. So in addition to what we can do for the spine, we often give out the stretch that I'm going to show you right now. And this is the stretch for deep gluteal syndrome. This is what you're going to do if you know that the pain that you're getting that's going down your leg is coming from the muscles underneath your glute. So a very easy stretch, but I'm going to show it to you here. And it's kind of similar to, if any of you do yoga out there, it's similar to a pigeon pose, if you've done a pigeon pose. If you don't know, if you haven't done yoga, skip past that part. But what you need for this, you need a raised surface, right? So I have my chiropractic table here right behind me, but you need a raised surface to do this. Think like bed, couch, countertop, coffee table if it's sturdy enough. You need a raised surface because what we're going to do is we're going to keep one leg off of the table. It's really important that we do that. So we're going to keep one leg off the table while we do it. The other leg comes right up in front of you. You're going to lean down so the middle of your chest comes towards your knee. That's it. You lean down towards your knee for 20 seconds. So after that 20 seconds of leaning down towards your knee, you're going to lean down towards your ankle for 20 more seconds. That's what, 40 seconds, right? Pretty quick and easy. You're going to turn and do the exact same thing on the unaffected leg. Why are we doing that, Dr. Merrill? How's that going to help? Well, it's actually going to help by making sure that you stay balanced, right? So the last thing I want is you're treating your own deep gluteal syndrome and then suddenly you come in and your spine is all out of whack because you have only been stretching one side of your body. So very easy stretch to do, very simple. You don't really need any extra equipment. And what you should feel is while you're doing that stretch, you should feel like those exact tissues are getting pulled on. You might even feel a little bit of the tingling that goes down because you can compress some of those tissues. But after you get done, what you should feel is relief. All right, and if you make it a habit to do these stretches 3, 4, 5 times a day, because they only take like a minute here. I mean, you can find a minute to do this if you want to help to treat yourself. But if you're doing this 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're going to notice less and less and less of the symptoms that go down into your legs. So that's one of the best ways to treat this deep gluteal syndrome, formerly known as piriformis syndrome, is with this great stretch. Now, another thing that's kind of come out is this is one of the only things that you can use heat for, right? The only thing, I talk all day about using ice, right? We have such an inflammatory lifestyle here in the United States. If you use heat on the wrong injuries, specifically acute injuries that happen after like accidents, falls, traumas, car accidents, you're gonna end up with more inflammation and it's gonna be really bad for you. But this is one of those injuries, because it's kind of chronic in nature and it's muscle that it's being too tight is the problem. You can use heat to treat this injury. So you're not going to use it on your back, you're going to use it right onto your glute muscle, but heat for about 15 or 20 minutes there before you do those stretches can give you even a better stretch to make sure that you get rid of that sciatic pain that goes all the way down your leg. Anyways, if you have pain down your leg, you can diagnose yourself, but you shouldn't. You should seek professional help to make sure that you get the right cause of your sciatic pain, because if you have the wrong cause of your sciatic pain and you do one of these stretches, or you do the wrong motion, or you use the wrong treatment, you're actually going to end up worse, not better. So I don't recommend that. Because sciatica is such a complicated issue, it's not the best idea to just kind of off and start treating yourself. You should get it diagnosed by a professional first, maybe including an MRI, and then depending on the outcome, you can start with this treatment if it ends up being deep gluteal syndrome. Anyways, that's all I have for this evening. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate some of you catching me live here. These videos end up on our, obviously our Facebook page. They end up on the blog on my website. They end up on our YouTube channel. And if you ever want to reach me, you can just comment on these videos, because I am the end all be all of my social media marketing. Anyways, I hope you're in the middle of a great week. Everything's going well for you. It's nice and cold outside. Hope you're enjoying it. I will see you next week for another Wednesday Night Wellness Live. Be well and good night.